What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, I want to shout out all my subscribers. Keep running those numbers up, keep hitting the likes. I really appreciate you. Shout out to the donations. I've gotten a few donations. Normally, I leave my Cash App in my description. It's the same name as my YouTube, AlienAscend. If you want to show love, I appreciate it. If you don't, it's all good. Not begging here. I am homeless. I do live in my car for the new people who check out my videos. But I'm gonna jump straight into it. Scary trucking experiences. So there's a whole lot of them that I could talk about. One of the ones that really stick in my mind was driving at regional driving. I was driving at night and going down the freeway, and when I'm going down the freeway, there's an emergency stop where we all have to take this exit. They got the road flares out. It was not even a bad accident, it was fatal. They just literally barely cracked the road flares and made us take this exit. Taking this exit, I actually was bobtail, so I didn't have my trailer with me, which is great because that emergency exit was not trucker friendly whatsoever. I had to follow a quick detour sign, and you could only make a left if I remember correctly, but nonetheless, had I had a trailer, I wouldn't have been able to make the turn at all. I would have stayed right there because I would have hit all these cars that were right there. There's nothing I could have done. And that's one of the things that stick in your head, that they don't even talk about trucking school or anything like that, or being out on the road, is what happens if there's an emergency exit that you have to take. People make mistakes. It wasn't trucker friendly. If I had a trailer, I would have known that I couldn't make that turn, and I would have sat right there, and I would have had to call the local authorities. But it still scared the hell out of me. Like, damn, man, And I've had that happen a couple times. I've had where emergency exit. One time I was in New York, and I was following the detour signs, and I could see up this narrow street where it said I was supposed to go, and I'm looking. It's at this time it was night, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, that looks pretty narrow. And then I could see just a little bit further, and there's a bridge right there that said 12.9, and these vehicles are 13.6. My navigation system was also telling me to go that way as well, telling me to go down the street where there's no way in hell that I can get underneath it without crashing and making a big calamity. Then again, I would have solved that it said 12.9 if I didn't look too far ahead. A lot of people just follow their navigation blindly and being ignorant. I trust my eyes more than I trust where a navigation system tells me. I'm always looking, following DOT signs and stuff like that. But looking out there, yeah, it was 12.9. Of course, there's way more scarier stuff. Sorry for that quick transition. Had to move. I didn't like the twilight action going on with the light, so I think this looks a little bit better. But yeah, another scary time was I'm in Nebraska, and it's 60 miles before Cheyenne, Wyoming, and winter time. And I don't like driving to Wyoming in winter. It's very beautiful place and everything looks really, really cool. In the winter, there's like different ecosystems. At one part, it's extremely windy. Another part, it's ice. It's another part, just snow. Another part, the road is is nothing but like just all the snow and ice vacuuming and doing this really cool looking but scary and terrifying like vortex of ice, just and snow. It looks like a fog machine hitting the ground and just going everywhere. And if you're a truck driver and you've seen what I'm talking about, that's what I call it. It looks like a fog machine of ice and snow. But there's a lot of ecosystems of it, and then let's say 20-30 miles after that, it's smooth sailing. It's just a little bit of snow and ice on the side of the road. But nonetheless, I'm 60 miles. I'm in Nebraska, and I'm heading west. I-80 West, and ice storm right then and there, and it just turns, it went from not too bad and to real horrible. At that point, there wasn't anything I could do. There's no places to stop for a good 60 miles, and just progressively got worse. Now the ice and now the rain and the ice and the little bit of snow, now the temperature has dropped. Now it's actually sticking and icing up on the ground, and it is extremely bad, all of it. And then visibility became little to none. So I actually was able to finally find a truck stop. I do that, and I bunker down for the night, and then I'm like, okay, we'll see how this weather goes. And then of course there's nothing but snow and ice all night and everything else. Next, I'm pre-planning, okay, am I stuck here, or am I able to move? I check my Wyoming app. I check all the live feeds on the cameras. I'm looking, and it looks for about 150 miles. It's pretty bad. Black ice on the I-80 West is open. It closed when I when all that crap was happening. So not only did I want to get out of it, the road closed, so I had to get out of there, you know. So for 150 miles, it's all saying black ice. I can see, then I see after about 150 miles, it looks better. Like, okay, that looks more, looks like that's okay. So in the morning, I'm actually seeing other truck drivers, and they're jumping on the I-80 West to, heading out. I'm like, okay, well, evidently other people are. Maybe they'll break up the road a little bit. The sun's coming out a little bit, and I know that it looks bad, especially with that black ice. I'm just gonna take, I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna take it real slow. Like, I think anybody who had a brain at the time was going maybe 15, 20 miles an hour. Definitely not over 30. So I'm doing that, and I'm keeping my following distance behind people real far away. Like, I'm being extra cautious. This truck, that I'm riding behind, that I have a lot of room. He decides to go a little bit faster. He's not going anything crazy, man. He's going maybe 30, 32 miles an hour, but it's black ice. He jackknives right then and there, and thankfully, people were, being good at the time. Everybody's following distance were really far away, and everybody's just, trying to be safe. He jackknives, and he stays on that road. He didn't go off, and this whole time that we're driving like that, I'm seeing 18-wheelers and cars. Some of them have rolled over. Some of them are just all the way in the ditch, and it happened from the day before. And then there was ones right then and there that were happening. That guy, I think it was a guy driving. I have no idea. That driver jackknifed and barely kept it together. And I'm like, yeah, this is trucking. That was pretty scary. I've had two people, two different occasions, people pull out their 4th of July's, the ratchets out on me. I've talked about it in other videos. Both are scary because you never know what somebody's going to do. I believe when somebody does something like that, they have every intention on using it. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully that it didn't happen that way, but I'll talk about it. I had a headlight out. I was driving regional. It was local regional. I was home every day, but I was driving at nights. And I had a headlight out. I've been DOT inspected 5 times. I passed every single time. They like to pull people over from that carrier and where we were driving at and stuff. They were just really big on pulling us over and inspecting us. DOT was just always around. I had a headlight out, and of course I've dispatchers and the people inside the office. Let's just drive to the truck stop and get a new headlight and use the company card. And I said, I'm not leaving our yard like that. You either give me a new truck, I call road service, or maybe you guys go get it, dude. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not leaving the yard with a truck that's like that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna risk it. I know it's so small. When I did OTR, if I noticed that I had headlight out, of course, I could go ahead and pull over into a truck stop and get it, and it's no problem. At this particular company, no, I didn't feel safe doing that because I did not want my score going down, and I don't want to get in trouble, and I've already been inspected so much, so I knew it wasn't good for me. Of course, the company would love for me to do it, but who does it hurt more, me or them? It's going to hurt me, and I'm the captain of my own ship. So I say, they say, go take the headlight off of another truck. And I said, okay. So that's what they told me. Just go ahead and do. I'm taking the headlight out, and there was a driver that was sleeping in the cab, and I had no idea. We had day cabs, and then we also had we had 75 day cabs and 75 sleeper, but they were the lightweight sleepers. You couldn't get a refrigerator in there. It was very small, and it only had one bed. And me popping the hood and me messing around woke up that driver, and he came out there, and I saw him. I felt the truck moving, so I'm underneath the hood. Once I felt that truck moving, I'm like, what the hell? So I looked directly into the windshield, and he comes out there like that, and I said, don't you dare point that at me. Another time was dispatching's fault as well. I was dropping off a trailer, and I was asked to get an empty and come back. It was pretty windy. I didn't want a bobtail, but I would have, but there was an OTR driver that was blocking, inside where we're supposed to get the empty. Their tractor and trailer were in my way. There was no way I could connect to it and get out of there. So I kept knocking at that door. Dispatch, I told them, I was like, nobody's answering. This is at midnight. It wasn't too late, but it was midnight. Dispatch tells me, you have to come back here with an empty. Don't come back without an empty, and all sorts of crap, and really, laying it thick on me. And I'm telling him, I was like, do you think I just want a bobtail back? No, it's windy out here. I want a trailer with me. So It's just how they are, man. But I finally keep knocking at that door, and then the lady rolls down the window. She rolls the window down. This big old hand cannon comes out, man, massive. And she's like, I don't ever answer my door at night, and if I do, this comes out. I said, fair enough. I said, can you please just move your truck? You're not in any trouble for the way you're parked and sleeping here. I could care less. You're not bothering me. Just you're just blocking where I need to connect to this empty trailer and to get the hell out of here. And she was like, cool. I was like, you can go back to however you were parked before. Just move forward a little bit. Let me connect and get out of here. And she did. Both those are scary because you never know what somebody's going to do. It's very easy for one of those things to go off without even somebody meaning to, or maybe they do mean it, or maybe they're unhinged that day. Probably one of the scariest ones was when I was permit driving. So I'm in trucking school, but I only have my permit, and I'm out doing OTR, and I'm driving. Learning how to drive and all that stuff, and then I'm supposed to come back to the school to learn how to back and then take my test. I'm out there 3 weeks, and the trainer that I had, I've had two trainers, one permit student trainer, and then I had one after I got my license, I had to be with a trainer for I think 30 to 50,000 miles is what he had to do, as long as there was no issues and stuff. So with that trainer, 3 weeks into it, that dude, I'm driving and it's wintertime and it's in Montana, and I'm taking the turns real slow. I think they were saying 30 miles turns, mountain area and all that stuff. I think I might have been doing 5 or 10 below that, and he asks me why aren't I driving faster? And I told him why. I was like, I'm not going to drive above my ability. There's a lot of blind spots. There's ice. A lot of sharp turns. Like, I'm not going that slow, dude. I'm going 5, 10 underneath the speed limit. That's not too bad, especially driving a commercial vehicle. Those speed limit signs are generally for what a car can do. A commercial vehicle cannot do it. You know what I'm saying? If it says, take the exit at 30 miles an hour, yeah, a car could probably still take it at 40 or 50 or 60. 30 is just them being safe. A commercial vehicle definitely, especially if it's a Clover, needs to go way under 30, man, like maybe 15 miles, like good rule is 5 or 10 under, and just, feel how it's going. But that trainer, he starts telling me how he would like for me to roll the vehicle over, and he's not joking, and me and him basically get in an argument, because he wants me to crash the truck. He basically said that, why do you think I got a student on here? All I want to do is leave my mom with his wife, leave his wife with a lot of money, and if he was to get seriously hurt, be unalive, his wife would be taken care of. And when he said that stuff, I'm screaming at him, telling him, I got people that love me out here, and I value what's going on with me. There's no way in hell that's ever going to happen. In fact, at this point, I'm afraid that he's going to come over and yank my steering wheel while I'm driving. Nonetheless, I get off that truck. I let dispatch know. They let him pick up another student a couple days later. Total random person, somebody who I don't even know. That student got off his truck 2 days later and said exactly the same thing I did. So then I believe they got rid of the guy at that point. I would imagine. They don't tell me anything, but I know that when I went back to school after that, when I told him, I was like, I don't feel safe on the truck, I need to get out of here. I had to go ahead and they couldn't get anybody to come pick me up. I was in a little part of Washington, I believe, at that point. So I drove through all the way through Montana, and I think I went to Washington, and they didn't have. It was a small little town. They didn't have anybody to come get me. I went into a hotel room. That's what they told me to go ahead and do. I ended up renting a car. They said they were going to reimburse me. I don't believe they ever did. It's another part of trucking that didn't scare me, but it did. It did bother me, but they said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to finish. I want to be able to, get my license. I want to be a trucker. Like, okay, cool. And when I went there and they found out that the second person, that trainer, I was his very first student. The second person, when that person did that, they came and talked to me like, what can we do to make things right? I said, well, when I get my license, can you put me with somebody who really takes this thing serious and is going to teach me everything? I don't want, I'm not going to be a steering wheel holder. I want to learn how to back. I want to learn, a lot of stuff. I want somebody to teach me. You know, I said I'm willing to take, I'm willing to even take less money for a good experience, because that will help me out further, down the line, So they actually they ended up giving me a great trainer. I have no idea if it was because I said that or it was just luck of the draw, but I had an excellent trainer who taught me all sorts of stuff, man. But this video is about scary experiences. I don't want to ramble off. That's another thing too. I am homeless. I do live in my car. I've been like this for quite some time. I have videos of the full story of why I'm homeless. So a lot of my viewers are first time them finding my videos. There's other videos I have that you could check out, man. If you were like wondering, like, well, how did this guy go? How is he homeless? What happened? What's his story? I got that video. I got a traumatic traumatic childhood video. Doesn't do very well because it's I go into graphic detail about some stuff that I really open up myself, and I talk about my childhood and things like that. That's not doing good, but you can watch that and understand. There's got tons of videos of I even got videos of me being in a bando. I live in a car. I still sleep in bandos though from time to time. Summertime normally I don't have to run my car because it's it's hot. Wintertime going in there actually will save me running my car as well and staying warmer. So I think I add something to this. I guess whatever you want to call it, this genre. I believe I do things a lot different, and I show you the experiences because I'm not afraid to turn my camera on. Other scary situations and experiences that I've done with trucking is literally like, I'm going to do a Star Wars reference here. When Darth Vader goes, "You don't understand the power of the dark side." Well, you don't understand the power of that vehicle when you see it, a commercial vehicle, an 18-wheeler, get in an accident. It doesn't matter how slow they're going. It's impeccable what it can do. There's a lot of times that your real training comes after your license. There's a lot of times where the roads that you're on, you're gonna hit a curb. So sometimes where when you're borrowing a lane, you're still gonna take a sign out. I've seen trucks do it. And it looks like it's something out of a cartoon. The amount of damage. I've seen a truck barely touch a sign, right? Like a sign showing there's like don't cross the median or some silly sign, right? And I'm not talking about like street lights, I'm just talking about a regular sign. It barely touch it, and it just twists and twirls, and then it just shoots out with a big old piece of concrete that the sign was in. It looks like something out of a cartoon, man. It looks like something out of a Marvel movie that Iron Man just grabs and rips out and starts hitting Thanos with it, man. It looks absolutely nuts. When they hit a vehicle, it's when you're in that we call cars four-wheelers. When you're inside of a truck and you look down, the cars look like little matchbox cars. There's so many different truckers that'd be like, they call every single car a Honda Prius. Not a Honda Prius, Toyota Prius. They call them Toyota Priuses, like, oh man, that was a Prius instead of four-wheeler, because they look so small. Even raised cars or raised trucks or whatever, they look very small. If we barely, if that truck barely even touches you, it's catastrophic as far as I'm concerned. And it doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be a little tiny side swipe, and that vehicle's tumbling, and everything else. And there's been times where I've seen that. I've seen when I was in a car before, an 18-wheeler. They must have like a retread tire or something like that, but a car was following too close, and the back of the tire, a big old piece of rubber came flying out. And let's say, for example, that truck was doing 60 miles an hour, which it was probably doing 60 or a little bit higher. They don't go too fast most of the time. Like, the trucks I've been in, I think 65 is the fastest truck I ever had. Most of them, go between 60 to 65, like I said. But nonetheless, big old piece of a tire, back tire, comes flying through, and the car that was following too close, that goes right through the person's windshield, right to their face, instant. So that's another thing too. Like, whether you watch my videos because you find out that I used to be a truck driver. I quit truck driving. I have a video on that too, so I encourage you to check that out. I encourage you guys to get to know me and watch my story and be a part of the journey, and rock with me. So far all the positive comments and everybody subscribing and stuff like that is totally awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Another thing too that I haven't been asking is share my videos, man. If you like it and you think somebody else will like it, share it on Facebook. Share it. Text a message them with the YouTube thing. That'd be cool. But yeah, that's pretty scary, and that's something that not a lot of cars. I see a lot of cars doing that all the time, driving way too close to it. You do not want a piece of their tire come flinging at you through the windshield. And I mean, it's like a fastball. It's a big old piece of mass rubber being thrown. At 60 miles an hour, and you're only 10 feet behind them. You shouldn't, give the truck drivers room. I've seen where, on an on-ramp, a car, and I've had it happen to me, but there was no accident. My driving record is clean as hell. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But a car coming, you got an 18-wheeler coming on-ramp for the freeway, and a car driving right on the shoulder, trying to go past that 18-wheeler, and it gets stuck, and then that 18-wheeler just crushed that car against that damn wall, man. And it's incredible, and it's scary, man. Driving in mountains when you're unexperienced, even if you are experienced, we'll have you pucker up. Geez, the best thing to do in those situations is take it slow, man. If you don't know what to do, take it slow. But there's always an exception to the rule. Things do happen. They're called accidents for a reason. They're not called purposes. You get what I'm saying? But yeah. Doing downgrades. I've seen people smoke their brakes out. I've always been very worried about that. You better know how to use your jakes. You better know how to go ahead and hit your brakes and then let off. Use your cruise control to. I've seen some videos of truck drivers who don't utilize some of the stuff that I was taught, and I think it would really help them out. If you are, if you want to go slow, use your cruise control, and it'll go 5 miles over it. So let's say, for example, all you want to do is 50. Set it at 45, and if you start picking up way too much speed, you hit your jakes. Then again, I'm not here to teach people how to drive trucks. You should definitely have it done by a professional. But I will share my experiences and stuff like that. Seeing what happens to motorcycles. Most of the time, it's not with truck drivers hitting them; it's with a car hitting them. And I've seen tons of fatal accidents like that. And it really does get to you, man. How are you supposed to enjoy the road when it's not open? How are you supposed to really enjoy driving when you see something as awful as that? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I've had scary situations where it's scary as hell to back up from I'm backing into a dock, and I got to go against cross traffic, which is something that I if I know going in, I won't take the load there, but it has happened. And I'm worried that I got yard dogs and I got cars going around me, and when somebody's backing, that is one of the rudest things you could ever do. Just give them a second or two, man. It's not like it's not like I'm going to take 20 minutes here. It's gonna take me a minute or two, and that's all. But driving behind me scared that somebody's going to hit me, and because I'm doing something I'm not supposed to, I'm still at fault as far as I understand. I'm sure they have an argument there. I don't know 100%, but I'm sure that they have an argument to go ahead and say, wait a minute, he shouldn't have been backing up on a service road at all. That's against the rules. You should also not be backing up on a service road when you're crossing another road that actually has oncoming traffic. They'd have a very strong argument. That's some of the stuff that scary truck driving experiences for sure. If I sat down and thought more of it, I think a lot of it I don't want to think about, dude, to tell you the truth. I think about the stuff that I learned from it 100%. But when I started thinking about some of the fatal accidents I've seen and stuff like that, I mean, I kind of have a photographic memory a little bit. I can remember exactly how I seen it and how it made me feel, and it made me feel horrible about them what happened to them and what their family and their friends are going to have to deal with. But nonetheless, I want to thank everybody, especially if you watch this far. If you want to donate to me, I'll leave my Cash App in the description. It's AlienAscend. That's another thing too. If you want me to give you a shout out for sending me a donation, you can write that in the message. As of right now, I've only gotten a couple of donations, but I don't know if somebody wants me to shout them out and say their name. So if you want to shout out and you give me a donation, that's fine. Just write in the message, say give me a shout out, and that's cool. I also have some merch. People are checking it out, but nobody's bought it yet, probably because Christmas is around the corner. But that's another way you can support me too. But the ways you can support me for free and rock with me is subscribe, share, run those likes up, let people know about my content, and want to thank you so much.